Welcome to Ask Dhaval. On this platform, I'm going to answer your questions on health and fitness. So I've been answering a lot of questions on health and fitness personally whenever people reach out to me, but now I've decided to put it in the public platform so a lot more people can benefit from it. So if you have a question, type in the comment below or go to askdhaval.com and send in your question. I will answer that personally. Now, let's start with today's question. Today's question is about fat. So my friend Muthu sent me a link to a YouTube video and he said, Dhaval, this gentleman is talking about fat. I always get confused. Can you tell me what it is? So yeah, let's start there. So what is fat? Fat is a molecule, energy dense molecule, which is part of the food that we eat and that gives us energy. Now, other than giving energy, fat has a lot of different functions in our body. It's an ingredient for making things like hormones, cell membrane, etc. But we're not getting into the science of it. So let's talk about fat and types. So there are two types of fats, saturated and unsaturated. Now both of them have two types each. So let's talk about saturated fat and its type. So saturated fat has two types, trans fat and saturated fat. Trans fat is artificially saturated fat and the saturated fat which we normally talk about is naturally saturated. So what does it mean? Saturated, the English word means full. In terms of molecules, in terms of science, it's actually a fully saturated molecule. All the atoms have corresponding bonds there. So it is tightly bound molecule and it is thick or solid at a room temperature. Now that's how the saturated fat is. When it comes to trans fat, it's a little different. Trans fat is actually an unsaturated fat which is industrially or artificially saturated. And this is the only kind of fat that you should be worried about. This is not healthy for you. It doesn't help at all. Now let's talk about unsaturated fats. Unsaturated fat also has two types, mono-unsaturated, poly-unsaturated. As the name suggests, mono-unsaturated has one missing link or one missing hydrogen, that's why it is flexible and it is liquid at room temperature. Poly-unsaturated has a lot of missing links and that's why it is liquid at room temperature. And these are the two unsaturated fats. Now, everything that I talked about is bullshit because you can't do anything with that. You can't see the food and identify if it is saturated, unsaturated, because most of the time we don't eat the chemicals, we eat food which is prepared and presented to us. So look at your screen and see, nature does not discriminate. The food items that you see out there, they have mix of saturated, unsaturated and also mix of poly and mono-unsaturated fats in them. So food items which are available to us for eating has mix of all. It's not one particular food item. So that's the first thing to remember. Now again, this also may not help you because if you look at those items, lot of them you don't pick and eat individually. So what do? Look at your screen again. Next what you will see is I've divided fats into three categories. Red light, yellow light and green light. So red light are the type of fat or the food items which has little bit of unhealthy, a lot of unhealthy fat in it. So this is something you avoid or you eat rarely. Now this is something helpful because you look at the food item and you can decide whether it's healthy or not, you want to eat it or not. Then comes the yellow light. Yellow light is okay, it's mix of both, so you can eat it sometimes or in a limited quantity. So again, you look at the food items in there and then you can decide whether to eat, not to eat or how much to eat. And next comes the green light food, which are the minimally processed or the healthy fats that we talk about. When you look at them, then you realize whether these are good for you and you want to eat them or not. So these are the categories of fat. Probably this helps you simplify it. If you have any questions again, drop in the comment below or go to askdhaval.com and drop in your question and I'm going to answer that question here on this show. So thank you. If you like this, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, click on the bell icon so that you get a notification whenever there is a new video out there, and I'm going to see you next. Thank you.